some key personalities in the coal mining industry and the union movement at that time, and what events in particular made them remarkable?
Let me mention one other person,
Sure.
quickly. And he wasn't a good guy as far as the union movement was concerned. He was one of the mine owners and managers, a guy called Frank Harquail. He was the main manager of the Hillcrest Mohawk company, which operated mines close to Bellevue. And then when Hillcrest Mohawk amalgamated with the McGilvery Creek and the International Mine to form Coleman Collieries, he was hired on as one of the main managers, but he wasn't the general manager. But he developed a reputation as a particularly astute opponent of workers' rights. And so in my research I found that he was instrumental in breaking a strike in 1950, a strike by fire bosses. And they had a strike in 1950 that was broken by the companies. And Mr. Harquail was the guy who came up with the strategy to get rid of the fire bosses unions. Well, by the end of the 50s, he had moved up and was the general manager of Coleman Collieries. And he dealt with the workers through the tough period of time when mines were closing. And he stayed on as Coleman Collieries kind of built up its business again through sales of coal to Japanese steelmakers. And there was a crucial moment in labor history in the Crowsnest Pass in 1965, because it was the last time that there was industry-wide bargaining for a collective agreement. And there was a problem at that time, and the problem was that the mines were doing much differently in terms of their economic health. The Shaughnessy mine was in awful shape because there was hardly any business, domestic business for poor quality coal. It wasn't the sub-bituminous coal that's up here in the pass. And so they dropped out of the negotiations. So there were 3 left, and 3 companies left negotiating with the United Mine Workers of America District 18, and the Michelle Collieries was in much better shape than the other 2 mines in terms of their economic health. But that meant that the Coleman Collieries and Canmore management wanted to get away from the joint bargaining. And it was Harquail who figured out a way to break away Coleman Collieries from Michelle. And he did it by basically pressuring the Coleman workers. Instead of waiting for a strike, he locked them out in early 1965. And he basically said, our last offer that we offered, it's on the table. The District 18 people didn't want to take it, but I think you guys, just the Coleman Collieries local union, should take it, because if you don't take it, there's a good chance we're going to close the mine. And the Coleman Collieries workers decided that they better sign the contract. They signed the contract, and so that broke apart the Coleman workers from the Michelle workers once and for all. Never again did they negotiate together. Coleman signed with the last offer. Michelle, a month later, went on strike and got a much better deal. And so from that time on, Michelle workers were paid better than the Coleman workers. And he was involved as the manager of the Coleman Collieries, the general manager, right until '69. And so that was a long period of time. From the 1940s to 1969, he was a fixture. And then he disappeared. For tax reasons, he and his wife moved to the Cayman Islands, the British protectorate, where he could invest his money and not pay very much tax at all. He was a bit older than his wife, and so he passed away at some point. I haven't been able to find his obituary, but his wife lived in the Cayman Islands from the late 60s, and she didn't die until the middle of the last decade. And I think she was well into her 90s when she died. And she took his wealth and she made philanthropic donations in the Cayman Islands. And so the music concert hall, the National, it's the National Theatre. I guess they have plays and they also have concerts there, is named after Mr. Harquail. It's like the F.J. Harquail National Theatre in the Cayman Islands. And in addition, the art gallery, their big exhibition place, is named after Mr. Harquail. So his wealth, which was created by the people of the Crowsnest Pass, was, privately appropriated by Mr. Harquail, but it was returned to the public domain through these philanthropic donations. The only problem is it's in the Cayman Islands, not in the Crowsnest Pass.